it doesn't.
I hope you're looking at what I'm looking at here. I don't know if you're really seeing this clearly, but what does that look like to you? I don't know. I can tell you what this is. What this is this is a skull. And this skull is, it's absolutely been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this skull is not a human skull. Okay, this is a real skull. It was found in Mexico in, I believe, 1930 something. I'm not exactly sure the exact date, but it's in the 1930s. It was found in Mexico. And the bottom line is this. It has been gone through several exhaustive DNA tests to find out and determine what this is. This is actually the StarChild Skull. They've been doing DNA sequencing on this to figure out what in the heck this thing is. They thought it was some kind of a hybrid human, which would, kind of indicate that maybe it was a hybrid between a hybrid and an alien. But what they have recently found out is just recently the latest testing, the highest standards were used, the latest testing that they have available today in 2011 in DNA testing. They were able to determine within a 10% range, they have at least 10%, I guess, of the mitochondrial DNA left. Again, this thing is 900 years old. It's very difficult to get any kind of DNA samples for testing, so it's very difficult to do this. But they have, I guess, sequenced, 10% of the genome of this skull, and they have determined that this is an actual alien skull.
In early 2010, a team of geneticists in America began DNA testing on possibly the strangest looking skull ever discovered. Whilst trying to recover its nuclear DNA and matching it against the National Institute of Health database, they found a significant number of coherent base pairs that have never been seen before. This was an historic moment for science, as it proved beyond all reasonable doubt that part of the skull's DNA is not human. Since that result, the geneticists have predicted that when the final genome recovery is complete, it will provide science with the first record of alien DNA ever discovered. The skull's caretaker is Lloyd Pye. Lloyd, a researcher in aspects of human origins, named it the StarChild. It was found in Mexico in the 1930s, and through carbon dating, we know that the skull is over 900 years old. It has over 24 major physiological differences to that of a human.
These are the cuts in the skulls for DNA testing, and you see that the StarChild, when I've been saying it's half as thick, you see very clearly here. In some points it's even less than half. And this is, in the skull. So, there's just no exaggeration there. There's a complete difference in the bone throughout. Uniformly, it's different.
This is the biochemistry of a typical human bone. Its calcium and phosphorus levels are high, and its oxygen and carbon levels are low. But with the StarChild, it's quite different. The phosphorus is down, and the carbon and oxygen are up, indicating its biochemistry is more like tooth enamel than regular bone.
This is a scanning electron microscope view of the bone, and this is the way bone is created. You have the cortical layer here, and in here are the cancellous holes where the bone marrow moves. And coming out of some of the cancellous holes, but also embedded in the matrix of the bone, are these fibers, these very durable, strange fibers that nobody's ever seen before. They're in no other species, and we don't really know what they are, but we just know that they're really durable because the Dremel blade that cut this through here did not cut cleanly these different fibers. That tells you they have a high resistance factor to the blade.
It lacks frontal sinuses, has smaller chewing muscles, and is missing an inion. Instead, its neck connects on top of its frame and magnum opening, indicating that its neck is about half the size of a normal human neck.
And here we see one clearly embedded in the matrix of the bone on the surface. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And you know what science says about this? You probably dropped it on a carpet and it picked up carpet fibers. You know, I mean, really, that is the answer that I get. It has to be just fibers off a carpet or something. This can't be, it really can't be in the world of mainstream science, but there it is.
This is a piece of upper right maxilla that was found with the StarChild. When one of the teeth was extracted, it was found to have very heavy roots, indicating it was an adult when it died. When the maxilla was x-rayed, a staggering 5 more teeth were discovered, waiting to come down.
The key is that normal human bone, when you die, there are bacteria in your body that scour and eat every bit of your marrow out, and they leave your bone polished, shining, just like this, just like you see. You could eat out of that just like the bacteria did. It's so clean. There is no marrow left anywhere, and this is the way it is with all animals when they die. With a StarChild, we see a big difference. And we also see a difference in the color too. It's much more milkier than that alabaster look of the human bone because it's got so much more collagen. But you see this red residue here sprinkled everywhere. We don't know what that is. Never seen it before, and it's not in any other species. It's not blood because when blood oxidizes, it's not our blood anyway, or our type blood, because when blood oxidizes it turns black. So if that was bone marrow, that would be black. So those two things, the fibers and the residue, are just unknown in anything else. And here they sit in the StarChild, both of them, and yet science just says, you know. And this is what they say. This is what you need to understand about science. And all of these physiological differences that I've just pointed out, they mean nothing to mainstream science. They mean nothing.
Hoy fue puesta en exhibición una momia que no sería de este planeta.
Ahora, en la barbilla, en la parte de abajo tiene dos.
Su descubridor, el antropólogo Renato Dávila, está seguro que por la formación ósea que presenta se trata de un ser extraterrestre.
Este ser es un ser que tiene 50 centímetros de estatura, tiene la cabeza triangular y es una forma que no existe en el planeta Tierra, a pesar de y también la fontanela que la tiene abierta y tiene dentadura que no coincide con el crecimiento del ser humano, ¿no?
La pequeña momia de enorme cabeza que ocupa un espacio en el Museo de Ritos Andinos de Andahuaylillas, en la provincia cusqueña de Quispicanchi, fue hallada en un cerro donde se han avistado ovnis y es frecuente la caída de meteoritos. El antropólogo Dávila reveló que otros colegas y científicos llegados de España y Rusia afirmaron que se trata de un ser de otro planeta.
Vio dos médicos españoles y un ruso que estaban haciendo turismo por acá y eran médicos y les interesó muchísimo, tomaron fotografías, etc. Y de acuerdo a las características que ellos también han descrito, no es el planeta Tierra.
Tras la aparición de la momia de cabeza triangular, muy similar al extraño ser extraterrestre que fue visto y filmado en un caserío de la selva de Brasil, se da por descontado que el apacible poblado de Andahuaylillas se verá